right, let's get started. Welcome back. Good morning. A couple of housekeeping items. This year, the Academic Affairs is going to provide lunch both today and tomorrow. We have not traditionally done this.
Thank you.
Not traditionally done this, but tomorrow's lunch is going to be a box lunch style. We do know that as faculty, this is the week before classes begin, and that some of you would like some time maybe to go back to your office and work during the lunch break. Some of you may want to hang out in here and socialize during the lunch break, and we wanted to give you that opportunity to not have to rush off and maybe try and find a restaurant or pick something up and rush back, but to help you out. So there's no plans for lunch tomorrow other than a box lunch for you to use that. I do want to announce that the South Carolina Women in Higher Education group is going to meet, and that group will meet in one of the rooms here. We'll get that announced. That'll be tomorrow during that box lunch. As we put together the schedule for this in-service, we took very seriously what we heard from you in surveys and listening sessions last year. And this in-service and the schedule that we put together, we've tried to make truly about your highest needs. One of the things that we heard was faculty needed time just to talk about the things that faculty want to talk about. And so I asked our chair of faculty council to lead a session, put together a session on those things for you to have time, and you see that on the schedule tomorrow. She agreed after thinking about it, I think, but she asked for a little bit of time today to help plan. So, Sarah, the floor is yours.
It's going to be a very little bit of time. What we decided to do as a group was to go ahead and send out a survey to everyone. There are some topics listed, and there's also a place that you can write whatever topic you would like. So if you're interested in any of the topics listed, go ahead and check those. If there's something else you feel it's important for us as a body to discuss, go ahead and write that in. Our idea is that we will actually not be all in one session, but that we will be in separate rooms. So there will be different discussions that you can go to. And so once we see what themes are prominent, the folks on faculty council will sit down together. We will break up the prominent themes. We will list the rooms that those are happening in, those discussions. We will ask someone who is in the room because they are excited to have a discussion about that topic to take notes on it so that everybody has access to those later. We'll have a couple of starter questions, but it will be time for you to discuss that particular topic. So I'll send out the survey. If your name was given to me as a faculty member, I'm going to send you out on the faculty voting privileges for 2023-2024, and the survey will be there. If you're in this room and you don't get it, turn to a neighbor and I'm sure they can forward it to you, but it'll be sent via email. All we ask is that you get those done before you leave today. It should only take you a minute or two, and that way we'll be able to look at them, break them up into groups, make sure we got everything covered.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for taking the lead on that. I know it probably caught you by surprise when you got that email asking you to do it. But look forward to that being a great session tomorrow. It was great to hear from President Sharon's about all the great things that are going on across the institution. I want to take some time to continue those discussions and talk about how they are impacting academic affairs and some of the things that we are going to be working on this year. So you can't really start without saying that this is going to be one of the best years in Newberry College's history. You saw the investments that we're making in the academy. You saw the growth that we're seeing in the student body. One of the things that I do want to note is our admissions department is looking to bring in close to 600 new students this year. 600 new students. But the ratio of the athletes to non-athletes is changing in that. And so we're looking at, just in terms of freshmen, about 500 of those students will be freshmen, the rest will be transfers and international students. 250 of those students will be non-student athletes. There was a time at this institution where we brought in 300 students, 350 students, and maybe 75 of them were non-student athletes. So half of the incoming freshmen are non-student athletes. This is a wonderful change. We've been working on this. I see Sandy over there smiling. Your team has done an absolutely amazing job. It's been our pleasure to partner with you. But this is who we are becoming. The work that we've been doing for many years, and we're excited about it. Our focus on new and attractive academic programming is really starting to reap some rewards. We have high academic programs, an enhanced focus on academics, and this large class with a large ratio of non-student athletes. We could have done this without you. I want to thank a few people personally here and tell you a little bit about what they've done over the course of the year. But I also know that I couldn't possibly thank everyone. I have to thank all of you for the time you've put in, meeting with a student as they walk across campus, meeting with a prospective student in your office, coming to a Wolfpack welcome, giving up a Saturday to come and meet with students. There's so many things that are going on that have helped to make this difference. But what I will reemphasize is the relationship between academics and the admissions department is as strong as it's ever been. And that is a direct result of how you have responded when they have had a need. Our communications flow is unbelievable. We're using a new software platform called Slate, and many of you have been asked to write letters or put together flyers that we can send out through that. And I know that takes time. I know it takes time to write and edit and send it in, and admission says, well, we kind of want to tweak this, and we want this picture to look a little different. Can we move this here? And I know that takes time. And I hope that you can see and feel the great things today and how that's paying off. I want to recognize Amanda Hodges. Where's Amanda? I know she's here. Hi, Amanda. Your work with recruiting the honors program was unbelievable this year. Unbelievable. Students in the honors program, and as we talked about at the end of last year, we have to find Amanda some help. So that's going to be an absolute top priority for the first few weeks, is figuring out how we're going to transition the leadership off of Amanda to here and find a new good leader for honors. But she is in her talk, she will stay with the program and help transition that so that we can continue to grow the program. Amanda has been a tireless advocate for the honors program, and we appreciate that. I want to recognize David Harpool. We put together a business plan for speech and debate. Some of you may know about this, some of you may not. But this is a competitive traveling speech and debate squad. And in our business plan, we put that we would like to recruit 8 students in year 1. We could balance the budget at 8 students. So David took that and is bringing in 30. What I love about this program is they're not coming in just to be speech and debate majors. They are going to major across the institution. You're all going to have these students in your classes. And I'll tell you, what they know how to do is think and debate. So I think it's going to deepen the level of conversations in your classes. This is just year 1. This is just year 1. So thank you, David, for that. I want to thank Ashley Henderson. You'll meet her a little later in one of the breakout sessions, but she is working to build and develop our dyslexia program. This is a program for students who have dyslexia. It's a very strong support program for those students. If you do me a favor, if you participated in the dyslexia simulator last year, would you raise your hand? Everything I've heard about that, thank you. Everything I've heard about that, I wasn't able to attend that one. We're going to have that back on campus, and I look forward to attending. But those students have come, the retention rate looks good, and she's bringing in another 17 or 18 students this year. Sandy, I'm looking for you to know yes or no on that. We're right about there. It's not just the new co-curricular programs, but we're also adding new academic programs. And once again, there's someone who just about every summer I call her and say, "I've got an idea for a program. Would you do some research on it? Bring it to me, share it with the group." Saw her here earlier. Where's Rebecca Dixon? Rebecca has once again taken the call and worked on a major in public health this summer. She's bringing together our Division of Health, Nursing and Health Science, and our sciences, and our AHSS division. But once again, she's put together a great program. Let's see, you've worked on exercise science, nutrition, public health. Well, you're forgetting one, because I think you also have a master's in sports management and leadership that you worked on as well. I know that none of these, I appreciate that, Rebecca, I know that none of these work on their own and in a vacuum, but it always takes someone to kind of get the group together and do the research, and we appreciate that. I want to thank Brett Clark, Valerie Burnett, Jessica Otis, and the Science and Math Department. They've worked to put together neuroscience and computer science, which are RISE majors. For those new faculty, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. RISE is a consortial partner that allows us to add programming in areas that we would not traditionally add programming. Programs that may not develop a really large enrollment, but if we can find a way to get them through our core and through a series of prerequisite courses, they can take 4, 5, 6 courses online and complete a major. Computer science has become one of our top 5, top 6 areas of interest for students coming in. The way that we've run that and been able to support that, even though we don't have a full-time faculty member yet in that area, is a tribute to the work of the Science and Math Department. So thank you, Brett, and your team. As I said, our partnership with RISE to grow student enrollment isn't just in the sciences. One of the main areas that has been in business and communications. So I want to specifically thank Sarah Bryant and your team. I know Paul Smith has helped and Matthew Kidder has helped in your department. But we've added majors in project management, supply chain management, e-sport management. We're looking at programs in data analytics. We're looking at programs in hospitality and tourism. And most of these are coming out of your area. Stephen, I think I see you back there. These are programs which we'll look at some more, and this trend will continue. But we really appreciate the faculty of taking the time to research who RISE is, what they stand for, the programs, and get those proposals through faculty council and the faculty so we can offer them. When you look at the enrollment in these programs, this is contributing to the enrollment of our college. And these new and exciting majors offer prospective students a career pathway, while at the same time, they're learning about lifetimes of meaning, those things that we stand for at Newberry College as a college in the Lutheran tradition. Last thing I want to do is recognize our admissions department. They have been, let's be honest, kind of a pain in the butt this whole year, but all in a good way. Sandy, your team has reached out to me, reached out to us. We've had standing meetings as we have looked to share ideas and share what is working. And I look forward to the partnership going forward. You're always welcome to send me an email and remind me of something that I need to do, pull the group together, and I look forward to seeing what y'all do next year. I want to encourage all of the faculty, when you do see a member of the admissions team, I want to just say a little thank you. They've worked really hard this year, really hard, and I'm proud of what they are accomplishing. What I see is Newberry College becoming a destination college for traditional and non-traditional age students. We're becoming a choice, the choice, something that we have been working on for a long time. The students want to come to us where they can learn and grow and develop and prepare themselves for careers and lives of purpose. And we have to keep focusing on that as well, keeping our curriculum relevant, keeping our mission in mind, and developing the student as a whole while preparing them for a career. I know that the growth that we're experiencing comes with growing pains. And some of those growing pains we're trying to address. The systems that we use at 900 students, and those systems may be technological or people powered. are really struggling at 1400. So we're making an investment in technology. And while this will support the work of the faculty, really the first part of this work has been behind the scenes, and it's been going on for 3 or 4 months. We know that we have to improve how we engage with our prospective students and our students, and take it out of that personal conversation as they are looking at financial aid, student accounts. We have to automate more and more, and we have to be better with data. And at the same time, we can't lose our tagline of passion, purpose, and personal attention. So we've engaged with a group called Collegius. Collegius is helping us with our data, and they're helping us transition from what's called Genzabar EX to Genzabar One. Genzabar is our student information system. It's where all of our data is. Laying on top of Genzabar is a program called e-learning, and that's our learning management system. We call it Wolfden. As we get through this Gens 1 upgrade, e-learning is also eligible, and we'll be able to significantly upgrade e-learning as well. These have to be done in order. The functionality in Gens EX restricts what we can do in Gens with e-learning and Wolfden. So we're really excited about the move to Gens 1. Gens 1 also brings in significantly more power and better user interface, both from the faculty side and the student side, in terms of student advising, and in other areas of the college, such as housing, early alerts, and those kinds of things in the way that we use technology to help our students. The process of the Gens 1 upgrade is really just starting. We have gotten Gens 1 into our test environment. So briefly, you have everything that's operational operating over here, and we create a mirror over here, and we put everything in here and make sure it works. And so we're going to ask a lot of our staff and probably some of our faculty members to do some testing, to get in that test environment and see what it looks like, see how it feels, are things right? And then at some point, we flip a switch, and instead of using the test environment to test, that's the go live, and then we'll have the next step. The timeline for that, we'll continue to work on that throughout this academic year. I'm not sure the go live date right now. What Collegius is working on right now is understanding how much testing time all the units are going to need, and also figuring out what the right date is. As we found out at the retreat, going live too late, you might miss the opportunity to get housing live, or you might miss the opportunity to get advising live. So we're willing to take a little bit more risk on whether or not everything's going to work perfectly to have an earlier go live date. That is right where we are in that process right now. So since we're bringing in one of our largest classes, one of the things that we have had to do in academic affairs during COVID and past COVID was hold some vacancies. We did that as we came through COVID to help with the budget, and I know that added work to each of you in those areas that had vacancies. I want to recognize that some of you picked up extra advisees, picked up an extra course, picked up some extra committees, as we really were not fully staffed. What I'm really happy to say is every position that was held vacant coming out of COVID is now fully funded. I'm not saying we don't have vacancies. We do have a couple of vacancies. We have a vacancy in history. We have 2 vacancies in English for the semester. One a full-time instructor in the writing center, because those positions, those hiring committees, we just didn't fill those. We weren't able to fill those positions. But we're going to move forward with those as quickly as possible. So we're fully staffed. As a matter of fact, we've added 4 new lines to help support the growth. And we're really excited about that. The other thing that we have done, you heard the president say this, is there's now a line in the budget for our first professional advisor. I know that I attended a couple of the QEP meetings. Carrie and her team had talked about this and unanimously recommended this, and we're excited. It's time to get a job description. It's time to get an expectation document and get that out and get someone in. Our first professional advisor, we plan to put into the Division of Business and Communications. When you look at the data, that's an area that we have the most students, and we have some of the highest advisee loads. So we're hoping that this will help us address some of the workload issues among the faculty as well as giving students a strong experience as we work to help them prepare for their careers. The growing pains that we have experienced, and I expect we'll have bumps along the road this whole semester, have not just been in processes. They haven't just been in student numbers or counts or policies. Last year, we took time to listen to stories about how we treat each other as faculty and as administrators. In some of the cases, we didn't like what we heard. And in some of the cases, I didn't like what I heard about myself. I appreciate those that were on the task force, and I appreciate those that participated. I've had some time this spring and summer to reflect. I've had some time this spring and summer to reflect on the things that we've been able to accomplish, but also sometimes the ways that we work to accomplish those. When you look at my, what's the name of the assessment? Clifton. When you look at my Clifton strengths, you see that my strengths are in the areas of data analysis, analytics, not always having strengths in community building. It's just the way it is. And I know that sometimes some of the ways that we approach the projects outweighed the ways that we treated, that I personally treated some people during those times. So I'm going to work on that. I've had a lot of time to reflect. I found times that when I'm too focused on the project, that sometimes I miss the impact on the people that are involved in the project. I'm committed to being better, and we're going to take the time this year and make sure that as we're working on the projects, that I'm personally taking the time to think about how it's impacting each of you. I know that when I undervalue your work, that it leaves you with the feeling of being underappreciated, undervalued, disrespected, and excluded. And that's exactly counter to our mission as a college and who I want to be. So if I've done that, I apologize. I'd love the opportunity to apologize to you individually. But we're going to be better this year. I'm committed to working with each of you to create a culture of respect among our faculty and between our faculty and administration, and to improving the vertical communication between faculty and communication. I understand that it's my role to be the example, and I'm going to be that example moving forward. One of the biggest things we navigated last year was the reorganization, and in a lot of ways, it went very well. In some ways, we had some speed bumps, some significant bumps in the road. To all of you that participated in the listening sessions and filled out the survey, I want to say thank you. I want to tell you that the president and I and the Dean's Council went through those in detail. And out of that, we came up with an action plan, and you're going to see some of those things. Some of them are on your desk right now. I want to say it's been a joy to get to know Vika and Stephen. I mentioned that earlier. They're going to be a part of this reorganization. They're new deans, but they are experienced educators who have a heart for communication and for people. As a part of our work this summer, the deans have mostly finalized, there may be one or two exceptions, job descriptions for each of the department chairs. This was one of the top requests as a part of the surveys and listening sessions. The deans are going to share with you those job descriptions at your first division meeting, which are scheduled a little later this week, maybe the week after, depending on the times. One of the other comments that we heard was it's not clear where faculty go to in the new structure when they have a question or a problem. With that in mind, you'll look on your table, you'll see this document that says academic delegations. Kind of just spread about 5 per table. If there's not enough, there's probably one on another table. But we're going to email this out to everyone after the in-service today. It's impossible to list all the actions that you may have, that you may need help with. But this gives you a good example of where you can go. One of the other things we heard, ancillary but related, was where do I go when I need something outside of academic affairs? Student Affairs has put together this who to call list about every year for the last 3 or 4 years. They just finished it last week, and we will also email this out at the end of in-service. So I hope between the academic delegations document and the who to call list, you really have all the information you need to get the help you need and support you need while you're doing your most important job, which is educating your students. Communication in a complex organization is always difficult. It's difficult vertically, maybe vertically more than horizontally. It's our hope that these documents will help us improve our vertical communication. But what I want to say right now is we're not done assessing. So we're going to reassess the reorganization again at the end of the semester through either listening sessions or surveys. We want to hear your opinion. Are things better? Where are the areas that we can improve our communication? One of the other clear messages that we heard, and the president touched on this, is that there's a faculty feeling of being overworked. This was clear in the listening sessions, the surveys, the one-on-ones. And we know that some of this comes from COVID hangover. We know that students are coming out of COVID expecting different things. We know that exploding technology and the advancement of what students have, they're coming to us prepared differently, in some ways better, but in some ways worse. We know that students are having more mental health issues than they've ever had before. We know that when we look at the data, that we see discrepancies, and you saw some of those in the president's report. Some people having very heavy advising loads, some people having low advising loads, some people having very high levels of committee service, some people having less, some people teaching overloads, some people not teaching overloads. And all these go together. Someone who is teaching overload and has less advisees may even out with someone who has more advisees and it's not. But we're committed to looking at this and having a lot of input early on from the faculty. It's important that we understand the ever-changing faculty role, what you have to deal with in the classroom, and how the institution can support you as you are doing your most important job, which is educating your students. So we're going to ask for your help. I'm going to be much more sensitive as we ask for help on task forces and things that we're working on to make sure that we are not overburdening you. I'm going to be very careful to make sure that each of you, before you take on a new responsibility, that we've had a conversation, or that you and your dean have had a conversation about how that impacts you. Because what I heard the president say, I don't like at all. And I think it's true in some cases, that some of us are so busy in meetings and advising and running from place to place that we're not truly having the chance to prepare for class, engage with the students, and build the community that we are here for. So I'm committed to working with you and figuring out what education and higher education and at Newberry College is going to look like over the next 3 or 4 years. And we're going to look at our faculty policy manual to make sure that it reflects the policies and procedures, the policies and procedures that help us be more effective with our time. The lens of equity is going to be a theme across the institution this year. We brought in Dr. Althea Richardson. She came to, I think, the last faculty meeting of the year last year. She'll be here tomorrow. She's leading the plenaries. I've had the extreme pleasure of working with her. Her office is right next to mine. She's someone who's just dropped in my office and had conversations. And she's looking forward to having those one-on-one conversations with you as well. So if you haven't had the chance, I really encourage you, reach out to her. She's one person. So if you all email her at one time, she's going to have to spread you out. She's also trying to meet with our other units as well, the coaches, student affairs. But I know that she is interested in hearing your stories. One of the opportunities that we have about how we can improve our sense of belonging is through the Academic Impressions program. If you haven't had the opportunity to read the email that she sent out, I know it came out about a week and a half before this in-service. I remember that was a week that I didn't pay attention to emails very much when I was teaching, as I was trying to absorb the last few rays of summer and get all the fun in I could. So I want to encourage you to go back and find that email from Dr. Richardson and read about the opportunity that she is bringing with her. Academic Impressions is a company that sells professional development opportunities all over the country. They're developing a new module on DEIB. Dr. Richardson has been working with Academic Impressions to develop this set of modules. And as a part of that, they have offered us the opportunity to participate in a pilot program at no cost to the college. Once this pilot is done, they'll put it into their normal way of offering it at cost. But we're really excited about it. I'll participate in it, and I really hope each of you will participate in it. The nice thing is there's going to be a group meeting. It'll be an online virtual meeting at the beginning and at the end of the semester, as they have some organization and wrapping up. The rest of the training is all asynchronous. It's something that you will be able to do in your time. You won't be required to log on at certain times to participate. So I hope each of you will join me in participating. As we think about the faculty policy manual, the work of reviewing the faculty policy manual is a heavy lift, and it's very important. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how we will start to build the team that will do that. First of all, the faculty policy manual hasn't been reviewed in depth since 2017. We made some modifications, but nothing major. Right now we have graduate and online programs. Right now we have a tenure and promotion committee, as well as the chair of the T&P committee, the chair of the faculty council, and post tenure review, already looking at that policy and process. We have an anti-harassment policy that we're looking at. The most recent thing we've done after the faculty council made some suggestions was give that to our VP for DEIB. And now it's time to bring the faculty council and her back together and have the president have some conversations. But we need to go back and look at that. So as we come back, and I haven't had a chance to fully debrief with the faculty council yet, but the plan would be to have 3 faculty members who the faculty council and I work to invite to be a part of this process. 3 faculty members work with myself, an academic dean, and the VP for DEIB. That group will be supported by David Harpel. For those of y'all that don't know, he's the institution's general counsel. He will be there to advise us along the way. We do have a faculty policy manual committee. That committee right now is staffed with 1 person, Chris Sharp. I don't even know if we do that, but you are the single member, but we will restaff that committee with these 3 faculty and undertake this important project. You're our most important resource. Each of you, what you do with our students. As I walk the halls every year, and I'm looking forward to starting that again, and hear how you are engaging with your students. Stepping into a class and being a part of a simulation or a lab, it's just amazing to see how our students are engaging with you. And we want to make sure that we have policies, procedures, processes, and expectations that allow you to continue that excellence in the classroom. The last main project that we're working on is space. The Spaces and Places team. If you're on the Spaces and Places team, will you raise your hand? Timothy Elston is also on it. Julia has her hand up. She should raise her hand as you see. This team has worked over the summer. We've walked through all of our buildings. We've looked in most of our offices, most of the classrooms, and really gotten an idea of our space. And what we find is with the adding and the opening of the nursing building, the Daugherty Nursing Health Science Center, and with utilizing this side of the Center for Teacher Education for academics, kicking the coaches out, which has already happened, and using it for academics, we have a lot of beautiful space on campus. The other thing I think we found is we have some space that's not that beautiful. And to be honest, one of the areas that's not that beautiful are faculty offices. As I started thinking about it, and shame on me, I hadn't really gone through and looked. But as I started thinking about it, we have some faculty who have been here for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And my guess is the most action that those offices have seen is maybe a vacuum. Maybe a trash gets emptied. Maybe you as a faculty member decided you got tired of the paint not looking good and painting it yourself. Maybe we've gotten a new desk in the last 10 or 15 years. But I just want to say, we've missed this one. We have missed this one as an institution. So as we go and look at how we're reallocating space, we're not just looking at how we reallocate it, but we're going to look at how we prepare it. Make sure that the spaces that we use for faculty offices and community spaces is what you deserve. It hasn't been a strength, And I take ownership of that. For those of you that have come in as new faculty and walked into a dirty office, there's no excuse for that. For those of you that have come back after being gone for 3 months, and it looks like the office hasn't had anyone in it for 3 months, I'm sorry. We need to be better than that. Right now, we do have physical plant working on a few offices, but as we look at our spaces and places, we're now looking at both how we're going to utilize the space and how we're going to prepare and maintain the space. And I'm committed to that. I know that the team is committed to that as well. I want to thank the members of the team because they did show up over the summer, and there's nothing more fun than walking around the campus in July and August. Feels like the physical plant turns the air conditioning off to save energy. I know they don't do that. It just feels like it. But it was a lot of work. The next step of this is to get back and look at all the data we have collected, some of the data coming from the campus master planning process, what we've heard from the individual programs, and start to look at areas where we have compression, which is mainly clerk, and look at the areas where we have some places, some vacancies, some areas, which is science and the Center for Teacher Education, and trying to find a way to create the community space that you have all asked for, where you as faculty can meet with other faculty and just have those conversations that you need to have, or meet with students and have those interactions and conversations that you need to have in a better way. That is the purpose. We'll keep you advised throughout the semester. We will certainly, when we come up with an initial plan, have a lot of opportunity for input and feedback, and that's going to be very important. As I wrap up my time with you this morning, I want to talk a little bit about our strategic plan and vision in academic affairs. You heard from the president that our goal, I love this, I'm going to read it to make sure I get it. Our goal is to create a learning environment where students learn to be open-minded, humble, curious, selfless, and inclusive, treating others with dignity, with respect, dignity, and empathy as they prepare for successful future endeavors. That is why we do what we do. To me, our strategic plan and our strategic map, and if you look at it, the 4-column side is the front. Comes our map for helping achieve this mission and goals. The columns focus on creating high-impact relative programming for our students and creating a culture where we think about student first. Now, I know when we hear student first that sometimes we think the student is always right. The student doesn't have to do something. The administration is always going to back the student no matter what. I just want to say that is not what student first means. It's not what student first means. But we as an institution have ways that we do not treat our students very fairly. One of the things we discovered this summer was that our students actually do not see a correct bill, maybe before they arrive to campus. That's not student first. That's not student first. That sometimes students move into a residence hall and their hall isn't clean and their room isn't clean. That's not student first. I got an email from our dean of AHSS who said she walked the building and found that our classrooms weren't very clean. Vika, I've already thanked you privately. I'm going to thank you publicly. We're going to reach out to physical plant. They're going to be working this week. But it's not student first to have you walking into a classroom that's not clean and either have to choose to teach in that condition or to clean it yourself or expect the students to come into that condition. That's not student first. We want to prepare our students for lifetime's impact, understanding how they're impacting their communities. So as we look at the strategic plan, this is the roadmap. We're not going to accomplish it all in 1 year. Some of the things we already have accomplished. You may remember, and if you don't, there are some of these tactics are white, some of them are in blue font. I'll be honest, I've tried 5 different fonts. You can't read any of them. I've tried bold. But the font that's blue is a direct link between the strategic plan for DEIB that was developed by the President's task force a couple of years and the institutional strategic plan. Inclusivity and belonging is woven through our strategic plan intentionally. And those are the things that we're going to work on. You'll probably have more conversations about the strategic plan. I want you to all have a copy, and This will also be a part of the email we sent out, so you'll have it in your inbox. The last thing, and you don't have this because unfortunately I couldn't get it to print, but we're going to put it on the tables when I'm done between the sessions. When you get back in here for lunch, you'll have these as well. But we have an academic affairs tactical plan. The academic affairs tactical plan is how we as administrators and faculty see our role in helping achieve the strategic plan by looking at new programs, by looking at issues, we'll pass it up, by looking at issues of belonging and DEIB and those things that are important in creating spaces, by improving the things we need to improve, which includes onboarding, which includes our use of Wolfton, which includes our space. So as you look at the tactical plan, I apologize for not having it there, but we'll have it at lunch. But I'd love to have more conversations about this. Your deans will share this with you in your division meetings, and each of your divisions and your departments will have a part in helping us move forward on the campus master on the strategic plan. The last thing before I close. Last year we worked on a campus master plan. The faculty were very involved in giving feedback to our campus master planners, McMillan, Padgett, Smith. They have returned to us what they call a close to final draft. I believe that we think it's a little farther away than that. Needs a little bit of work. But we'll get the steering team committee together. We are planning to get the steering team committee together a little later in August to review that campus master plan. What we will also do is have time as a faculty to look at that campus master plan and see if there's anything that we missed. I know that the President's Council retreat, which the deans attended, already caught a major miss. And that major miss was as we build new buildings, whether it's a student center or a business building or a nursing building, we have to have plans to renovate and improve the buildings where we now have space freed up. And so McClurg and science and math have to be a part of the campus master plan. So there's still work to be done on that campus master plan, and we're going to need your help in that. In closing, I haven't been in the classroom as much in the last few years as I used to be. I don't have the opportunity to engage with students as much as I used to. And many of the times when I'm engaging with a student or a family, it is because something has gone wrong in their experience. But what I want to tell you are a couple stories that I heard from families and students about your impact on them without using names. We had a student who came upon a hard time in life. They were living in a car, didn't have a place on campus. And they had a relationship with the faculty to have that conversation. That conversation was filtered up as it should, and we were able to help that student. It happened a few years ago. I'd forgotten. When the student graduated this year, she pulled me aside and said, "Remember me? I did then." I did then. She just said, "Thank you. Thank you." When I know, and I talk to our students, and particularly our first generation students, is they come with such great hope, not just for themselves, but they come with their parents. And when we talk to the parents at the opening workshops and as they continue through and other opportunities, the work that we do to change the lives of students, and particularly first generation students, does not just impact them. It impacts their brothers and their sisters. It impacts their moms and their dads. It impacts their future spouses and their families. It makes an impact for generations. I want you to think about the number of students that you had last year or that you're scheduled to have this year. And think about the chain reaction of impacts that you were going to have this year on families and students for generations to come. Thank you. on behalf of the students, on behalf of the administration, thank you. And this is my time to clap for you. Thank you. Take questions. Time. Christy, how we doing on time? Good. What time is this? You have 5 minutes. You can ask questions or you can take a break. You can go to your breakout rooms. The choice is yours. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an idea when the plane is it open now?
No, but President Mike, Lauren, do you know when McLean Gym is going to be? So the question was, for those of you that